Hello, everybody. This is Joseph Land, and welcome to my show today on a Monday at noontime. Every Monday, we have this show, and we have an exciting program for you today. I'm so excited about my guest, Tom Armour and David Bass. You guys have heard Tom Armour on here before. He's a really wonderful entrepreneur and has given his experience in the lighting business and all the things he did with Disney World. And Tom and I have done a lot of things together. And Tom brought to me recently his friend David Bass, who I've known also for a good while. And these guys really have some great things going on in the NFT business. Now, you might understand NFTs and you might not. I remember somebody asking me, telling me what Bitcoin was, when Bitcoin first came out, and I had no idea what it was. And so, we have to learn different things. This is like the new frontier. We have to learn different things from each other, and we have to be open-minded to learn new things. I remember someone telling me, this is really going to get you. This has caused me to be very open-minded. This was a huge mistake I made in my investment life. I remember someone asking me, would I like to be included and invest $10,000 in a startup company that was in concept only and was going to be launching in 8 or 9 months later. And the company was called Uber. And I was going to invest $10,000. And I turned it down. Well, I had another friend invest $10,000, and of course, he's worth about $100 million from that investment today. And then I know another acquaintance that invested $100,000, and that person has a net worth of over $1 billion from that investment. And so I have been very open-minded to listen to anything that anybody brings to me since that time. That was probably the greatest lesson of my life. And I've had a few other good ones as well. And, I guess that's why we live, and that's how we learn when we have experiences that teach us things. And so today you're going to hear from a couple of guys who are going to be talking about NFTs. That's non-fungible tokens. And it's just fascinating for me because I think this is the new frontier. When you look at the NFT market, they're saying that this will be, $120 trillion market in the next 5 years. I'm going to ask Tom Armour to explain some of this to you and David. But I've asked these guys to come on today because I like for my show to have entrepreneurs on it who are coming from all kind of different directions and who are doing all kind of different things, because we learn from each other. And what we're really doing here in the Joseph Land Insiders Club is we're creating our own economy. There are people here that come and bring what they do in their business, and other people are starting to do business with them. And so to me, that's very exciting. So if you're just joining me now, if you could mute yourself out so I can have a very clear line with these guys, that would be great. Candace, if you could mute yourself out, that'd be great. And so, guys, that's great. Tom Armour, welcome to the show today. It's great to have you back. Everybody loves you and loves your story. And so we can't wait for you to introduce David Bass and for you guys to talk to us a little bit about what you're doing with the NFTs.
All right, my friend. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here. I'm excited to talk a little bit about NFTs. And what I'd like everybody to do is open your mind for a second and forget everything you think you know about cryptocurrencies and stuff, and think about what an NFT is. Very simply, is from the concept of creating separate coins in the cryptocurrency marketplace. What they did was create a secure vessel to be able to share things with. And now through coding, they have changed it so it can be a picture, it can be a song, it can be a document. It can be anything, and it's secure. It's one of a kind. It can't be copied. And what is also great about it, and this is the part that's going to really transform things. Right now, if you go buy a song off of Apple, you can now resell that song, and the artist gets zero for that. And the artist also gets a small portion right now of a song because they are going through some kind of a publisher or a record company that makes the lion's share, and then they pay out a little bit to the artist. Well, think about now, if you're an artist, you can sell your song and you make the lion's share. And then if someone else that buys your song sells it to somebody else, you can get a percentage when it's sold down the line. And if they sell it to somebody else, you get a percentage. And that works really, really well for artists that things appreciate, because as it gets sold and moves on, and that's what the big part of NFTs right now are, pictures and things that are being sold. As they go up, you may have sold it for $500, and now somebody's selling it for 5,000. You're going to get a percentage when that transaction happens because it's coded into the picture. So every time somebody sells that, even 10 years from now, you're going to get a piece of whatever it is it's sold for. So it's just an exciting way of doing things. And it's going to replace everything. It's going to replace title companies. It's going to replace driver's licenses. Everything in the future will be done through NFTs, which is why they're talking about what Joe said. I think the actual number that everybody's talking about right now is $139 trillion is where they think the NFT marketplace is going to be. So now's the time to learn about it, not later when it's just accepted. When things are changing, this is what they call the Web 3.0, where we're taking it to the next level. I mean, when the web came out, all we could do is share pictures and emails. Now we're sharing currency over the internet because of crypto. And then now we're going to be able to share documents and photographs and things and create an entire economy. Now, the background in our economy here is it took 48 years. 48 trillion in the stock market took 150 years. And we're talking about in the next 5 years, 139 trillion in the NFT marketplace. So you want to be looking at it now. Like Joe said, don't miss the opportunity. Every time Joe tells that story about Uber, I think about my dad, because when I was a kid on Long Island, and I'm going to date myself here, but my dad had an opportunity to buy the first McDonald's on Long Island with his brother-in-law, and they got in a car and drove to New Jersey from where we lived on Long Island, and he went to go to this presentation about McDonald's, and he came back home, and I remember he said, it was the worst hamburger he'd ever eat. He said, and the things were like 50 cents. He said, how many of those things are you going to have to sell to make any money? He said, it's never going to work. And he didn't do it. And I think that was a mistake. He would have owned the franchise rights for Long Island, So anyway, I think there's a lot of McDonald's hamburgers sold at McDonald's today. I think my dad made a mistake there. And it's one of those that the family always looks back on and go, that was a shoulda, coulda, woulda. Yeah, I wish we had done that one. So here's what I'm going to tell you is, this is happening. It's happening now. And regardless of whether the market's up or down, it's the future. This is the time to learn, because when something starts to come out now, this is where the big money is going to be made. So learn everything you can about NFTs. And as Joe said, David Bass is somebody I've known for 20 plus years. He's one of these great guys that is just, you love to be around. He's always a light in everybody's life, and he's a giver. Type of people I like to hang out with. And David came to me with his company, where he's creating a company that's got an app for NFTs, where you're going to be able to take a picture and turn it into an NFT and be able to post it and sell it online, and all these things that are coming out with it. And he's trying to make apps user friendly, and it's going to take it to the next level. So with that, I'm going to turn it over. David, you want to take it away?
Yes, sir. Tom, can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
yes,
David, let me interject something. I have certainly enjoyed getting to know you and hear what you have to say about this whole thing. And, David, I want to tell you guys, David is from a beautiful part of Alabama, down South Alabama, near the coast, the Gulf Coast. And David, you're just a real gentleman. And I have learned so much about about the NFT market by listening to you. So welcome to my show.
Thank you so much, Joe, for having me on. And thank you, Tom, Armour, for a great overview there of NFTs. I'm on, Joe, let you get to know more about me. I grew up on a farm, learned what hard work was, had a passion for motorcycles. And my background is motorcycle mechanic, okay? So if I can do it, anybody can. I owned a business here that I sold motorcycles, and I actually did better than I'd done in a long time doing that. And I got a passion for them. I was a Vietnam veteran. I came back and had a chance in my late 20s to get into personal growth and development. Now, keep in mind, our new company, our platform, a big part of the focus is going to be personal growth and development, mentoring, teaching, training. And of course, Mr. Joe Land's going to be a big part of that. He'll be offering coaching and specialized things, and actually there'll be fees for it. But as a member here and a founder, especially, you get discounts on some of the mentoring, teaching, training, and education. We're going to be education on from the start, from intuitive learning, where there'll be apps and there'll be websites where people can know anything about cryptocurrency, the blockchain, Bitcoin, or any of those tokens and things like that. And then, of course, the training, education, and minting of NFTs. And what got me, I'm going to repeat ourselves a little bit, it took over 140 years for the U.S. stock market to get to 48 trillion. It's only taken 14 years, Joe, and the group to for the quote Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, blockchain, and 18,000 tokens or coins on coinmarketcap.com to get to 2.7 trillion. When I heard the news about NFTs, I started learning about them, the fact that it could potentially go to 139 trillion in just 5 years. Tom explained it well. Everything will be an NFT. And we think of it as art and music and many things now, but it's going to be so much more to it. When you see people like Mr. Wonderful saying, Kevin O'Leary, it's bigger than Bitcoin, and Mark Cuban putting tens of millions into it. Snoop Dogg buying Bitcoin. Look up Bored Apes Yacht Club. Just a year ago, they made 10,000 of them, and now the top 10 are between $500,000 and $3 million each, right? And Eminem just bought one, 450,000. Snoop Dogg has one. So the celebrities and the big money people, smart money, is moving toward education in NFTs. We plan on pre-launching sometimes in June. And what we're doing right now is we're actually looking for founders, leaders, mentors. I mean, people that could be sort of like advisory board members to give us input, as Joe's doing, as Tom is doing, as some other great leaders we have on the team that are doing that. And Joe, if you don't mind, I'll give out a website where you've got a little great 11-minute recording, okay? And we call it ChampionsUFounders.com. Champions and the letter U, founders.com. You can hear an 11-minute presentation where Joe just does an outstanding job as like a spokesperson for the company. And we're so thankful and grateful for you for your background. Well, first off, your integrity and your morals, your ethics, what you stand for. You had a dream as a baseball player. Things changed. You went in the trucking industry and became the 8th largest trucking company in the U.S. with 1,500 trucks. I mean, many people on the call know about this, Joe, but what an accomplishment. See, I think of the potential of being able to create a $5 or $10 million company. Maybe Tom could create a $20 million one. Maybe someone could get a $30 million, but Joe's the kind of guy that has done it before in the range of almost $200 million company. And as many of you know, he was the fastest growing diamond and Amway in a 60-year history to diamond. What an accomplishment that is. And now you have your book, and you might just say what you're going to do as far as the personal growth development area. But we have a call tomorrow at noon also where we'll present it a little differently through a PowerPoint and all. And that'll be under newcompanyzoom.com, newcompanyzoom.com. So, Joe, I'm just so thankful and grateful to be here. I could talk for hours about it, but I'll keep it short and sweet and let you come back in and fill back in. And at the end, have any questions. Thank you, Joe.
Well, thank you, David, for that background. And it's great to have you on the show today. But this whole NFT area, for all of you who are listening, is going to be the new frontier. It's, it's a I encourage you just to Google what is an NFT. Just go in and Google it. And because a lot of people have no idea. And I was reading an article last evening. Everybody's kind of enamored with Elon Musk right now. And, you saw him and his success in Tesla and SpaceX, and now he's purchasing Twitter and all of this stuff. Well, one of his former wives or girlfriends had a music video that somebody bought for $60,000 and sold for $370,000. I mean, it's just fascinating. It was an NFT. Shane, you being an artist, you can sell art as an NFT. You can sell baseball cards as an NFT. They're registered one time, and then nobody can can usurp your ownership of that. It's just so fascinating for me to hear and learn about all this. And my heart is helping people and being a blessing to people and trying to teach people about some of the things that I have learned the hard way. And certainly mindset when you build a business is a very, very key part of what you do, because the battleground is between the ears always. And and sometimes, the going gets tough when you're starting a business and you're new at it and you're working at, in the early stages. And so you need to have different people that you can call on who have experience that can help you be successful and can give you the tips that you need to help you scale and to take your business to a better place. And so when I heard about NFTs and I did the research on them, I'm delighted, Tom, to be a part of what you and David's doing as far as the training and helping people understand what it is and what things are going to happen, and then having them be a part of my show and what I'm doing over here on the Joseph Land channel as well. But I encourage you guys to Google NFTs and just start learning what's happening in that whole area. Now I want to repeat one of the things that I heard Tom and David say. The NFT market is going to dwarf the things like the stock market. I think the stock market has the market value of what, Tom? What's the market value of the U.S. stock market? What's
48 trillion.
48 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're talking about NFTs being like 130 trillion in 5 years. And so, man, that got my attention. And so these guys are setting up a company. Tom and David and Vince Holmes and a few of these guys are setting up a company where you can learn about it and be a part of it and share in what they're doing and get the training from these guys on how to be successful in the whole NFT arena. I'm gonna give you a disclaimer. I am not an expert on it. I've been reading about it, trying to understand it. But if it's anything like what's happening in cryptocurrency and other investments and things that are happening, when you look at the U.S. dollar and the price of oil and all the things, I think it's great that people have their eyes open and they're looking at other investments and other ways to diversify their portfolios and create more income for their families. So, Tom, any parting words from you guys on NFTs today?
Well, the only thing that I would say is, like you were talking about, the economy. When the economy changes, when a way of doing business changes, a lot of money is made by a few people that get ahead of the curve, and the ones that don't get ahead of the curve are left behind. And what comes to mind is when you think of Blockbuster Video, they had the opportunity to buy Netflix and decided they didn't want anything to do with streaming because they were a videotape company and they just didn't think of that as an extension of themselves. They thought of it as a replacement, as competition. And what it ended up being is a replacement because there aren't any Blockbusters left. You know, there used to be
Yes.
one on every corner. So whether you like
Yes.
that change or not, it was going to happen. So the ones that got ahead of that are going to do well. And that's what I'm decided as I'm spending all of my extra time learning more about NFTs and what that means to us and how we can take advantage of that marketplace and learn more about it. So
Let me give you another example of what I mean. Being closed can cost you a lot of money. Not being open to opportunity. I remember when I was in the height of my transportation career, one of my largest customers was a company called Kroger, and we would give them anywhere from 50 to 60, 100 trucks a week to haul their products. And one day they called me and said, "You need to get a fax machine." And I said, "What is a fax machine?" Now I'm dating myself. And they said, "Well, if you don't get one, we're going to stop doing business with you until you get one." And I said, "What do you mean?" They said, "Well, we're going to send you your orders instead of giving them to you over the phone. We're going to send them to you over the phone, and it'll appear on this machine, and we won't have to talk to you." And that revolution there, I mean, back then the paper, you remember the heated paper, the order would come over and the paper was heated. You had to peel the paper apart. And now I don't even ever use a fax machine again. It's all digital. It's all done by email. And so that's how technology is changing. My father worked in a textile mill all his life and never even knew about a cell phone. He would roll over in his grave today to know that we were talking about the things that we're talking about, and technology has advanced to the degree it's advanced in. And listen, it's going to be even more so in our lifetime. So my counsel to all of you who are on this call and all of you who will be listening afterward, embrace it. Embrace technology. Google, learn about it. Just learn about it. And you're going to be amazed. There's another guy on this call that I want to introduce you guys to, Vince Holmes. Vince, I see you're on your iPhone. I want you to unmute yourself, and I want people to hear from you today because Vince is a very sharp young man. I've been very impressed with him. And Vince, I want you to say a few words to everyone today.
Hey, how's everybody? Yeah, I'm Vincent Holmes. I'm in Bowie, Maryland, and I'm working with Joe and on our new project with a couple of things. And like Joe and Dave mentioned earlier, that this project is revolutionary as far as NFTs are concerned, and where it's going to go, especially in the future. I think if you don't get on the cutting edge of it and early when people don't understand, that's the best time to actually do anything. If you procrastinate, you wait, while everything is already figured out, that's usually not the best course of action. So I would encourage everybody to learn about it and read about NFT, study it. Our platform is going to actually do just that. Is going to have a step-by-step guide to what an NFT is, how to trade NFTs, everything about NFTs that you guys need to know. And I highly encourage you guys to get on board as soon as possible.
Good. Vince, tell us a little bit about your background. I am so impressed with you. And I want to say exactly what I want to edify exactly what you're saying. When I'm uncomfortable, when I have to get outside my comfort zone about something, that tells me that I need to learn about it and try to get more information about it. And so I remember when somebody was telling me about cryptocurrency, and I thought, I'm just trying to collect as many dollars as I can. And then I look at the value of the US dollar anymore, and I'm thinking, maybe I need to be open to some of this other things like collecting silver and collecting gold and being open to everything and having a diverse portfolio. And you have been very impressive to me, Vince, because you understand this whole concept and you understand this whole vast marketplace of cryptocurrency and all of this stuff and where things are going. So can you elaborate a little bit more about yourself and what you do?
So what I do, I have a wide background, but my main background is in technology, and we're software. My company does software development, and we also do a lot of marketing. I have a couple of partners on the phone also that are with me in this venture, and anything that has to do with technology and as far as marketing, building, development, anything, that's what we do. With the NFT space, it's a hugely growing market. I mean, it's growing rapidly by the day. I mean, it's not something that it may take maybe a couple of years. It is growing now, whether we like it or not. It's growing. So what my background is to use this technology in order to facilitate it, to make it simple and easier for the common people. That's what we're doing. And with our team of programmers and designers, we're building this platform in that way. Also, we put order to chaos. I mean, chaos to order. And in the case that if you don't understand it, the platform is going to make it seem a little bit more easier to use. And that's what we're doing. So that's my background. Our main background is software. We do have a background in a lot of other businesses. My background expands from every other business. I ran a martial arts school for years and years and years, and still do. And that was my passion. Did it since I was 6 years old, all the way until now. So that's almost like my passion. I ran an entire shopping mall, helped redevelop and sell land, and develop a lot of different projects in Texas and in the Houston area, Houston Galveston area, along with someone else. Another partner owned trampoline parks, everything that has fun. I have 3 sons. So anything that's fun that has to do with kids, I was on it. I mean, I had a passion for that. But the wave of the future is digital. And I recognize that even doing all of these projects, everything that you should be doing and concentrating every effort on is digital. The future is digital, and it's crypto and NFTs.
Vince, that's so true. So many people are, because of the indoctrination with COVID, are working from home.
Yeah.
And digital has become more and more and more important. I was thinking this morning, my bank accounts, I can do everything from digitally without ever having to go into the bank. Occasionally I do, to let them know, as Tom Henderson and I have a theory, you got to let them know who you are. Occasionally you got to walk in there and build a relationship. But when you think about all the things that we can do digitally and where all that is heading, it's fascinating, isn't it?
Correct. And it's at a rapid speed. And the other thing that you said, that everything is, unfortunately, we're trading something for something else. Everything is less interpersonal. That's what it is. That's what it cuts out, unfortunately, but it is the future. There's also other worlds too, like the metaverse. I mean, there's other digital worlds that it's another life, in an entire new world.
I want to stop you a minute. You just brought up something that I want my listeners and our partners here to know about. Now the founder of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, changed the name of the holding company of Facebook to Meta. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes, he did.
And do you think that was his play to take advantage of the metaverse? And if so, would you explain to our listeners what you think the metaverse is?
So the metaverse, just like how you had real estate in the real world, you can have real estate in the metaverse. Snoop Dogg purchased real estate in the metaverse, property around this is a virtual world. Property around Snoop Dogg's land in the metaverse is going upward from $400,000 right now, $250,000. There's actually businesses in the metaverse as well. Where people would have anything from gaming to social clubs, and it's just amazing. And it sounds crazy, especially if you're not into that reality. So what's happening is these things are merging, these worlds are merging. Gaming and reality is merging in the metaverse. So anything that you do in the virtual world will soon become real in this world, and which means your monetization in the metaverse, in the virtual world, will be true in this world. So whatever you earn in that world, you earn in real life. So that is the key. That's a huge, huge key. And that's why Facebook went and turned their entire platform to a virtual platform. That's their main thing. That's their Omega project. That's the is all for them. And they did it in a way that they wanted to be first. Everybody's trying to, just like our race to the moon or whatever, this is the race to metaverse. Everybody is trying to get to metaverse, and that is through NFTs, that's through cryptocurrency, that's through any of these digital assets. They're digital assets that you have. Everybody's quickly rushing to metaverse. That's where it is. They want to be the first to be on metaverse, and that is not going away. It's not a fad. It's going to only improve over time. The world that you see will become more real than the world we live in, unfortunately. So you have to be awake in order to understand it. And of course, there's confusion in it now because there's no understanding. But again, I encourage everybody to hop aboard to where we're going, because it's going to be huge.
Vince, I want to go back to NFTs a moment, non-fungible tokens.
Mhm.
Now, I read in my due diligence about NFTs that the founder of Twitter, his first tweet was, I am now on Twitter, or something like that.
I'm here to set up my Twitter. Yes.
I'm setting up my Twitter account, and it sold for $3 million
Yes.
as an NFT.
Correct. And it's selling.
Oh my
more
God.
now. Isn't
that incredible?
And it's just
It's incredible.
Statement. Yep.
In other words, I could take a picture of me playing baseball back in Old Testament times, and I could sell it as an NFT, and somebody might buy it.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes, and more likely someone will buy it. That's the thing. You have more exposure.
As opposed to me just having it, sitting somewhere. It's just fascinating. And I want to go back to the real estate thing with you made the comment about selling real estate, buying and selling real estate in the virtual world. That's actually going to happen.
Yes.
Virtually.
Mm-hmm.
In other words,
right
I'm
now.
living in a home here, but it could also be owned by someone in the virtual world.
Yes, and that's happening now. The main virtual world right now is called Decentraland. Okay.
Yes.
So Decentraland is in decentralization land. That's why they call it Decentraland, and that's where everybody's buying these properties at, and everything. So it's super interesting, very, very interesting. And so some people, it may be scary, but it is it's super interesting. And the monetization is high. Matter of fact, for these, I do want you to know they have a term for people that are in the metaverse, because they're making all of this money, and they have they're calling them the nothing class. And the reason why they call them the nothing class, because they don't have to do nothing to make money. Really, they're just in early. They're millionaires just by doing nothing, basically, just by being there. And
Wow.
And they're making. They probably bought land, and they cannot. And of course, the land in these places, they're in the blockchain, so you can't erase it. It's yours forever until you can sell it. So it has the same principles as an NFT.
Yes, and that's so important. It's a part of the blockchain. That's exactly
Yes.
right. It can't be changed. This is so fascinating. This whole conversation. I'm so glad we're doing this on the show today because I like to take things that challenge me and bring them to our partners and people who will be listening to this. And I encourage you guys. Here's your assignment today. When we get off this call, get you a cup of coffee and Google NFTs. Get some brain power going and Google NFTs. This is fascinating. And if you want to know more from David and Tom and Vince about what they're doing with their fascinating company, just send them an email. Here's how you send them an email. Hope.token at gmail.com. Hope.token@gmail.com. And what they'll do is they'll respond, they'll get your number, they'll call you, they'll talk to you about what they're doing and the potential of being involved with them and their company. And it's just fascinating. And so, guys, count me in. I'm excited about this new frontier. And again, I want to tell our listeners, when I feel uncomfortable, instead of saying, "Oh shoot, that'll never happen," like the fax machine or Uber or any of those things, or McDonald's, any of the things you've heard on this broadcast today, it's going to happen. Somebody's going to do it, and I'm going to be uncomfortable until I get comfortable with the technique or with the technology or with the information. And I encourage you to do the same thing. So Vince, I'm gonna learn as much as I can from you and David and Tom. David, you have something to add?
That is the hope.token@gmail.com. THEHOPE.token@gmail.com. And also they could go and look at the 11-minute presentation you made. Great job. Champions, the letter U, founders.com. Champions, the letter U, founders.com. And they can email and we'll send them an NDA, because right now we're wanting people that learn about it, know they're real people. In other words, a name, a phone number, an email, just things about them. And you get a letter of understanding back about our commitment to you, and then your commitment to us for being a founder, being really, like Tom says, it's basement level. We're not even on the ground floor until the month of June. So thank you, Joe. Back to you.
Okay. The hope.token@gmail.com. That's how you get the information. And so, guys, thank you for joining me today. David, Tom, Vince, thank you for joining me today. It's great to have you on. I hope you'll join us next week as well. Guys, I always like to open this up. Are there any questions on the call today? Anybody have any questions about NFTs or cryptocurrency, or anybody have any questions for me about anything before I go into my little short teaching I want to give you today, a training I want to give you about what is attractive? Any questions today? Feel free to ask.
Yes, I have one. So when you're purchasing the NFTs and stuff, do you get a wallet to put your purchases in, so you know that you have them? And
Vince?
Yes. The short answer to that is yes. So there's going to be a platform that you're going to have and it's a little bit more complicated than that, but you will have a wallet that you'll be able to trade, that you'll be able to see stats on your particular NFTs to see if you have any buying options, or if someone wants to buy your stuff as well. And to see if it just goes on and on and on. It's very, very complex, but at the same time, we're making it super interesting and and letting you know that what the monetary value of that NFT at the time is. So you have a whole bunch of stats associated with it. So you will have a wallet.
Okay, thank you for that answer. Any other questions for these guys? All right, great. Well, thank you so much, everybody. I want to talk to you about something that I was reading about the other day. Get your pens and papers out, because I think we still live in a world where personal communication and personal touch is so important in building a business and building, personal relationships with people. And so I want to talk to you today about what's attractive. And especially, with social media and some of that stuff, it's really fascinating. So let's talk about what's attractive. To me, what's attractive is mental attraction. Mental attraction. So let's talk about physical attraction and mental attraction. Physical attraction is really a short-term strategy. I remember when I was 19 years old, you could see every muscle in my body. And now at my age, you can't see any of my muscles. So physical attraction is a short-term strategy, isn't it? But mental attraction is a long-term strategy. It's something that'll really carry you a long way. So what's sexy is a great mind and mental attitude. And I'll tell you, when you look at social media today, people are all concerned about how they look. But how about when you get older? How about when you age? Nobody can stop that. What's important? And here's what I think is important: the depth of relationships are determined by our mental attraction towards each other. It really is how we treat one another, how we act towards one another, how we react in certain situations, these kind of things. Another thing that I think is really attractive is being able to admit when you're wrong. Humility and maturity is attractive. If someone can put ego aside and say these three things, then they're worth being in a business relationship with, a personal relationship with, or really they're worth marrying. So listen to these three. I made a mistake. When you can say, I made a mistake. When you can say, I apologize. When you can say, I'm going to change. And you know what? I have to experience that just about every day. And so when someone can put their ego aside and admit those kind of things, then they're very attractive to me anyway. I think what else is attractive is being spontaneous. Not having to have everything in a certain order, but just being spontaneous. Not having to have everything planned out, being able to take a risk. Let me give you an example. Yesterday was Mother's Day. And so Jennifer and I went downtown Charleston, where we live, and we're going to walk around and have fun. And we're going to have lunch later. And so we passed an ice cream place. And guess what we did? We stopped and got ice cream before we had lunch. That was spontaneous. It wasn't in order. We didn't say, oh, let's have lunch, let's come back and get ice cream later. Heck, it was fun. We just said, we're gonna have ice cream now before we have our lunch. And so it's living in the moment and living your life. I'll give you another example. Last Friday night, we were in Columbia, South Carolina, to see a daughter graduate from college, and we didn't have a reservation, and so impromptu we walked into a restaurant that happened to be a Thai restaurant. It was the best food we've ever had. We sat at the bar. It was impromptu, and then we came back to our hotel room that night, and about 9 o'clock at night we looked at each other and said, would you like to walk somewhere and get an ice cream? And instead of being too tired and all that, we just got up and walked down and found an ice cream place down the street and had ice cream, because it wasn't planned out. It was spontaneous. It was romantic. It was exciting. So being spontaneous is attractive, you know? Now here's another thing. Being yourself on and offline is attractive. Being yourself is just very attractive. You don't have to apologize for who you are. And it doesn't matter what others think. On social media, how many followers you got, who liked what you did, what someone said. To me, all those are unattractive burdens. What's attractive is you don't need to seek somebody else's approval because you're just okay being who you are. And, it's just so cool. I heard somebody say the other day, social media has kind of changed things for us. And I heard somebody say that everybody looks good on social media, you know what I'm saying? And because you can do things with pictures and stuff. And so just be, God created all of us, and he made all of us special. And so we don't need anybody else's approval about the way we look or any of that, because, being who you are is very attractive. I want you to know that. Being who you are is very attractive. Not everybody is a Hollywood movie star, certainly not me. And so I have a lot of great friends, and my friendship with them is not based on how they look or how they portray themselves or any of that. It's just who they are. And then the final thing that I think is very attractive is self-awareness. I think unattractive people, unattractive people make the same mistake over and over and over again because of ego. And here's the mistake: they want to blame somebody else. They don't want to. They want to take credit instead of giving credit. They want to gossip about something. They never want to take responsibility for what it is they need to take responsibility of. And so that's very unattractive. When you're self-aware, you can call yourself out. You can take responsibility for what you do. You don't have to give the blame somewhere else. You can take the blame yourself. And you care more about making things right than being right. I think that was the key for me. Then you're very, very attractive and you're very self-aware. I don't know if any of these things help you guys or not, but I'm on social media a lot, and I have a wonderful staff who help me with social media. But people are real, and people need to be loved and edified. And God made us all different, and so I just really get a real thrill out of learning who people really are, and learning where they're coming from, because there's so many people who bless my life just by me getting to learn about them, like David Bass. David is from Alabama. David is one of the smartest individuals I know. And David is like me. He's from the South, and y'all might think we talk funny, but we don't. And, but David is one of the smartest guys I know, and one of the most innovative guys I know, and one of the brightest entrepreneurs I know. And so I use that example. And then you look at Vince. Vince is up in Maryland. Wonderful guy. I'm looking at Tom Henderson on the screen here right now. Tom Henderson, longtime friend of mine. Tom Henderson is one of the brightest guys I know, and one of the great entrepreneurs that I've encountered in my life. But, Tom Henderson, he might not talk like he's on Wall Street, but he's smart enough to be, and, it's just like what I'm trying to say to you is love and accept everyone for who they are. And you know what will happen? You'll become a better person in your business, and you'll become a better person in your life. And so I wanted to share that with you today, because that really touched me when I started thinking about these things and started thinking about what is really attractive. What's really attractive is a good mind. a really good mind. When someone can tell you, I can't believe you remembered that. I can't believe you remembered those numbers. I can't believe you remember that address. The older we get, that's attractive. And so celebrate people for who they are and celebrate yourself for who you are. You don't have to apologize to anybody about who you are and how God created you to be. And we don't all have to be robots, all look alike, dress alike, talk alike, all that, because the way we learn and the way we grow is we learn by being around people who are different from us, and we learn to edify them for their gifts and the way God created them to be. Isn't that cool? Tom, you got anything to say about that? Tom Henderson?
Yeah, I think just coming together here, sharing minds from all different backgrounds, we all benefit. We all benefit with it. And David Bass, if you could drop in the chat line there, some of the information and stuff on it, the 15-minute video and stuff, how to get access direct to that. Just put in the chat line. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna put in the chat line now for you guys right now. It's the hope.token at gmail.com, and then they will take it from there. They will give you all the information you need from there. I'm putting this in the chat right now. Mark Chua, I know you're on right now. Mark is such a blessing in my life. Mark, did you learn a lot today about NFTs and some of the things going on in that marketplace?
All right. Thank you, Joseph, Tom, and David for sharing your expertise when it comes to NFTs and crypto. I, for one, had doubts before. Been hearing a lot of good things, bad things about that, but it's more of like really opening your mind to what the future would be like and be open to grasp the idea that these opportunities are just right here waiting for us to jump in for our future. So thank you for sharing this information, David and Tom. Appreciate that.
Good. Thank you so much, Mark, and what a blessing you are to everyone. And thank you for helping me host this program and all the things that you do. Terry, do you have any other comments, Terry, or any other questions?
Being grateful for what you have and the information that you give, Joseph. Now, I'm going to edify you a little bit. What you give us every week is so encouraging. How to talk to people, how to listen to people when they're talking. Like, for example, today I talked to another newspaper outlet, and I was very excited. And when I was talking with her, that one thing I said to her, that she was a very visual person. And I picked that up from her. So I made the comment, and she was very grateful for that. And just by learning all the time, keeping your mind open, like today with the NFTs, I understand more. I understood what I read before I got it, and I just got it a little bit more now. But, just keep your minds open and be grateful for what you have and who you're around, and listen to what they're saying.
Thank you. And Terry is in the tea business. Hot, when you put your bag in hot water, hot tea business. They have a tea business up in Canada. And he's been a very good friend of mine. He's on every one of these calls every Monday. Wonderful man, very, very, very bright individual. Terry, put your information in the chat for everybody to know, please. Dave Obermeyer, I want to go to you just a moment. We're getting close to the end of the show here. Dave, I'd like for you to say a few words. Dave's in Georgia, has a very successful business. Dave, how are you doing today?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Just want to say hi to you. You're looking good today.
Thank you. Now, on the
Did you learn anything from today's presentation?
Absolutely. I never heard of an NFT before today. Now,
Isn't that
I
amazing?
knew about all the digital currencies and the, all the Bitcoins and all that. and I was very hesitant about it, but my mind's open now.
Yeah.
Definitely open because of this conversation.
Now, let me tell you who you're listening to. This guy is a first-class entrepreneur, has a big business over in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and a very good close friend of mine. And to hear you see, this is what's so powerful. To hear a man of your ability say, I never heard of an NFT until today. That's exactly, that's exactly what I said when Tom and David started talking to me. I was, what do you call it in South Carolina? We call it acluistic. I didn't have a clue. and so, man, I appreciate you saying that, Dave. And we learned a lot today, and we're going to learn a lot more from these guys. But thank you for Dave for that comment, and hope things are going well for you and your family.
Very much. Thank you.
All right, good. All right. Well, I'm going to end this up with one of my favorite people up in Nantucket. Shane, I want you to come on. This is a very bright lady, also a very good entrepreneur. Shane, are you still on the call today?
I am. Yes, I'm right here.
Good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. And I'm just so excited and thrilled about this NFT stuff. I've seen different people making offerings to artists, and I'm an artist, but I'm also a performer, musician, singer, and I own all of my content, all of my MP3s and all. I have a music publishing company through BMI, and I always felt like I didn't want to, go through that whole system where you're getting very little return for your efforts and your content. And so to hear that this new opportunity is coming where, now I'm in a position where I always wanted to be, where I'm going to really be in control of it and be able to really benefit from it. So, sign me up.
Shane, you're so smart and you're so articulate. I wanted people to hear. I was hoping you would say exactly what you said. Now, let me tell you what I've learned from Tom and Dave about NFTs and Vince. Heretofore, if someone created something, they would go through a publisher, and the publisher would publish it, and the publisher would make most of the money, and the creator would make a little bit of money. That's exactly what you're saying. Now with NFTs, you can create it and you can publish it yourself, and you make all the money. It's exciting. It's a new frontier.
I know. And then you don't have all these other people in the pipeline telling you that you must do it this way or that way, or trying to determine and steer your own creative process. So that's very liberating.
Well, that's great. Well, listen, guys, thank you, Shane, for that, and safe travels for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll be talking to you soon. And guys, I want to go back to the way you contact these guys is the hope.token@gmail.com. And you'll hear from them very quickly, and you'll be hearing a lot more about this. I'm very excited about this whole new area of business. And I think we've really been enlightened today. So God bless you guys today. I'm gonna stop our recording here right now. I want you to stay on this line. Don't leave. I want you to stay right here just a moment.